Greetings and welcome back to the series where I choose your suggestions out of the comment section and I implement them into one game. If you are new here, last episode we landed on a plate game idea where everyone gets a plate or their plot of land, and random events cause the game to be more chaotic and entertaining. So for example, this event is called All Plates Will Shrink, so every plate will shrink, causing the game to be more and more intense. And that's just one of many events that I will be adding in today's video. So I'm hyped to present to you guys day 2 of making a game, but of comments only. Okay, so here is the progress we got done last episode. The map, invisible borders so the spectators don't jump into the arena uninvited. The primary text, which displays which event will occur. The secondary text, which displays where the event will occur. Game modes like random colored plates and normal. 6 events, actually 5 because I deleted one. Credits button and credits frame. And that's where we left off. So let's get started. Okay, so starting off with comment number 1, a comment by Quiet Kid 13865. He wants a shuffled plate event where plates swap positions with each other. I thought it was clever and funny because what if your plate had pits of lava and your plate is like absolutely cooked, and then it switches with another player's plate who hasn't even been touched all game. So I want to see this happen, so I picked it first, and I first made the event where it became a reality, and I went to test it, and let's just say one event was like very glitchy and buggy, so I had to nerf that. But then I went to test it again, and then I realized that in order for me to test it, I'm gonna need a second player. So I grabbed my second account, but then I realized that I needed to only give access to only me and him because I don't want anyone else playing the game in this unfinished state. So I ran an if statement that if you weren't me or my second account, you would get hit with this screen. So now that we fixed that problem, we can finally test if our shuffled plates work. And I got extremely lucky. My plate was purple and his was green due to the random colored plates game mode, and all the plates shuffled was the first event to play. So that sped up so many things. Because if the plates weren't colored, we wouldn't even be able to tell. But it worked. Well, that's what I thought. See, there was this one flaw in the code that will cause me to redo the entire code, and this like took around an hour to make. So I'm gonna call this flaw the big mess up. So you see that in the future, just know that this is what I'm referring to. Next up is a comment by Dolar Muskas. He wants a raining meteor or volcano eruption, so I chose the meteor. This one was pretty fun to make actually. So I basically made a rock, put some more rocks on it, added some fire to the meteor so I can give that effect of being a meteor and not just a rock that fell from the sky, even though that's what it is. Made a kill brick so that if you were to touch it, you will die, because that's what a meteor does. And then made it to where it will choose a plate to drop the meteor from like 200 studs in the air on that plate. So yeah, here's what that looks like. Ouch. Here we have a comment by Lil Dev, and he basically wants an obby to spawn on your plate. I actually really like the creativity on this one a lot, so let's get started. I first started by making a script that would change the position of a whole model based on one part, because this obby is obviously not going to be one part, it's going to be a group of multiple, and I can't just spawn 10 different parts on a plate like how I did with this singular brick. No. It gets far more complicated than that. So I did some testing, as you can see here with the 6 parts, and if I move this one, it should move all the other ones as well. And yeah, it works pretty well. So now I just turn this into a model and make the root part the root part. He's basically the alpha, the leader of all the parts. If he gets moved, so does everything else. So now all I have to do is make it to where when the plate is chosen to have an obby spawned on it, I change the position of that root part to be on the plate, but then I realized something huge. Alright, so you know how the random shuffle plate script is done. It was working. Yeah, well now I have to redo it, and I also have to redo the entire obby script as well. Allow me to explain in this quick 5-second segment called Why Buzfas is an Idiot. Alright, so Buzfas failed to realize that the random shuffle plate event can't only just swap the position of the plates, it also has to swap the position of everything inside the plates, which includes the obby. If 2 plates were to switch and only one of them had the obby wouldn't even budge, which defeats the whole purpose of the swapping plates idea. Because like I said, if your plate had pits of lava, it would be funny to see it switch. But it wouldn't switch, because only the plate would switch, not the pits of lava, and not the obby. So I had to make each and every single one of the plates a model in itself, and using the same script as the obby, plus some modifiers, I made the plate the quote-unquote root of the whole model. So if the root, aka the plate, moves, everything inside of the plate will move as well. And I had this shuffling plates bug, plus some other 3 bugs / features I needed to add or fix in order to even test this out. For example, add a billboard GUI indicating whose plate this is. If you don't know what a billboard GUI is, it's basically a button or text that hovers over a singular part. Most of the time, we don't even know whose plate it is because they are all the same. Only exception was that one time when the random colored plates game mode helped us out. So I made this. It basically tells you whose plate is whose, so if you hover your mouse over the plate, it will display a text displaying whose plate it is, which helped me debug this thing because I was able to tell whose plate it was. But even after that, I couldn't get the shuffled plates to work well with this obby until 5:45 p.m., one whole hour after the Great Reset. This happened. Now you may be saying, your plate just disappeared and you fell into the void to your death. Well, yeah, but we aren't looking at that. We are looking at the fact that my plate, including the obby, went to his plate. Only thing that happened is that his plate didn't teleport back. But then I looked at the code and was like, wait a minute, I see what's happening. So what was happening was I had this code: first plate dot position is equal to second plate dot position, second plate dot position is equal to first plate dot position. Now you may be thinking, yeah, that should work, it swaps the positions, right? Wrong, because when the first plate's position becomes the second plate's position, the second plate's position can't become the first place position if the first place position is in the second place position. I know that was a little bit confusing, so picture this instead: banana on plate 1, apple on plate 2. Your goal: switch them. Now this is the thought process my code had. Apple goes on plate 1, now banana goes on the plate that the apple is in, which is 2, so it stays the same. And it staying the same causes the second plate to be empty. Well, what does this represent in the game? That empty plate is my plate, nothingness, which explains why I fell in the void. So I fixed up the code, and at 5:52 this happened. I'm currently on Buzfas's plate, and then they shuffled and boom. Now I'm on Creative Chaos plate. So yeah, in this video I fixed the shuffled plates problem in like 30 to 60 seconds, but in reality this took 3 hours, and I'm excluding the 1 hour time I wasted on this from before. Like bruh, it's whatever though, because I got it to work, and now Quiet Kid and Lil Dev can see themselves in the credits. So there's this one hack that players can use to basically always win. If they get the obby, they will just stand underneath it so the meteors don't hit them, and so that if the plate goes to 0 studs, they can just chill under the obby because it's a ladder. And yeah, so I added this feature. Yeah, everything basically just falls apart like Legos when the plate gets a size of 0. Pretty neat, right? Here we have a comment by Jakesies. He wants to add a cola in the game, and whenever you drink it, there's a 50-50 chance you die or you get a gun. But I don't know how to make a gun, so I made the buff a jump boost instead. Sorry. Anyways, I first started by making a vending machine, and then I was like, that does not look like a vending machine. So I proceeded by deleting the vending machine, but I added a Bloxy cola instead. And then I added the script. So right here it runs a math.random feature where it gets a random number between 1 and 2, and if that number is 2, it kills the player, and if it's 1, it'll give them a jump boost. Works well. Alright guys, it's time to get serious. I may or may not have stayed up until 4 AM in the morning just to make this shop system, inventory system, and badge system. Thanks to a comment from Pockets Full Now, I will be adding all 3. But wait, there is a problem. A huge one. They didn't even put their username. But right before I was going to scrap it, I realized that this was a wonderful idea and that I can maybe improvise. I did some detective research where I went to the channel, clicked on this video, and then saw that their username was the same as the channel name. So I went to the account and it checks out. So make sure you put your username when you comment if you want to be in the credits. Anyways, let's get to work. So this shop will have 3 currencies: coins, gems, and Robux. The plan is to make some cosmetics like auras and icons. Some cosmetics will cost gems and some coins, but the cooler ones will cost gems because you have to buy gems with Robux. But to make sure the game isn't pay to win, because I do not like pay to win games, everything bought with gems or Robux will not benefit you in the game. But with coins, every currency that you will earn the more you play the game. For example, if you beat that obby, you'll get 250 coins, and if you survive one event, you'll get 25, and if you win, you get 25,000. But with coins, you can increase your plate size, or you can buy gears. So starting with gears, I made it to where you can buy a gravity coil, speed coil, or a sword. Obviously the sword is very expensive because it's very strong. Gravity coil is better than the speed coil, so gravity coil costs more, because with the gravity coil you can jump over obstacles and get away, but with the speed coil you can only just get away. So for that reason, gravity is 2.5k more. It all works, and I also did the same thing with plates. Now I'm not going to bore you with the full 6 hours I spent on the shop because I literally worked on the shop for 6 hours straight. Like as you see here, I started at around 9:32 p.m. and I didn't finish everything until like 3:40. So yeah, I was on that grind. But basically I added icons and auras, and for Robux I made a game pass, which is VIP. It doesn't do anything at this current moment, but maybe you guys can suggest some perks that it gives. But anyways, I also made it to where you can buy gems with Robux, and it's a simple 1 Robux is equal to 1 gem because I don't want to cause inflation in the game. That's Roblox's job. I then added inventory where you can equip both your icon and your aura, and basically there are 2 icons, 2 auras. One aura is red, the other is blue. One icon is red, the other is blue. Both of these will be available on release, and then they will be limited forever and ever. So stay tuned whenever I live stream the release of this game so that you guys can get these rare items. But anyways, I finally added badges, and you can just collect the badges the more you play the game. So there are currently 3 badges at this moment: welcome, from space, and parkour. And I'm sure you can guess how to get these badges. Did you notice that you are past the 10-minute mark? This means I kept you entertained for 10 whole minutes. According to YouTube, only 5% of people are subscribed, and if you want to be that 5%, all you gotta do is subscribe. It's free and it helps me out a ton. Anyways, back to the video. Next up is a comment by Juju LaBelge. They said to add a plate event where a series of random plates will turn invisible. This can turn the tables for the game and put you in such a losing position or winning position depending on the scenario. I started by thinking, maybe I should make this into a badge, but I needed a badge icon for it. And how are you supposed to make a badge icon for an invisible plate? Something you can't even see. I thought and I came up with highlighting. You highlight the invisible plate so there's a border around the invisible plate indicating that it's not there. So after that, I got the badge icon, and I remembered something, that there is an epic feature on Roblox where you can add highlights to a part, and it will even have a border around it. So I decided to make these little indicators like this. All plates will shuffle, and then it highlights everything that will be affected. And then right here we have 3 plates will spawn a brick, and it highlights all the plates that will spawn bricks. It makes it look more polished with the game because now we can see what will be affected by the event. And trust me when I say this, polishing a game is the key to success. So after that, I fixed the invisible plate event, and now we are done with this comment. Next up, we have a comment by Croupier SW. He said, make an event that randomly moves a plate, but he didn't put his username. So like last time I went through his channel and I found this, that's gotta be his username. Guys, make sure to add your username because there's like 5 comments I really liked, but they had no username attached, no videos, no channel. I couldn't even figure it out. So I couldn't do them because I want everyone to be added into the credits. Anyways, back to the randomly moved plate. So I did it, and this one was actually very easy to implement. And in case you were wondering, yes, it works if there's an obby attached to the plate. If you guys don't know, UI stands for user interface, basically like buttons and little text to see on your game. Well, there is a problem with my UI. The scaling is all weird. So I quickly rescaled everything to my liking using Roblox's test feature. Roblox allows you to turn your screen into the, for example, average laptop, and now all the scaling for the UI is fixed. I also added controls to open the UI. C is for credits, R is shop, and E is inventory. And there's also buttons on controller for you controller players, because I believe controller players matter. And I know Roblox forgets about PlayStation and Xbox players, but I don't. So I'm working on this game to be available for PlayStation, Xbox, PC, mobile, toaster, Samsung smart refrigerator, you name it. You guys will also be able to play the game. This comment by Norde is quite weird, but hey, it's weird, so I'ma do it. He basically wants an event that spawns Purge intruders on your plate and they steal your items. So let's do it. I first started by getting the Purge man from the toolbox because I don't know how to make character. I then added a string value in the character indicating who it should follow, so I named the value target because that's his target. I then added a follow script to follow that target. So basically the Purge man will spawn on a plate but only go after the owner of the plate. I then added a script where if you were to touch the Purge man, one of your tools will get destroyed, and as you can see in the output, it says it was stolen from you. After that, I tried to figure out how to teleport him, but nothing was working until I read this one dev form, and it says to use C frame instead of the position, which I low-key thought was the same thing, but it wasn't. So I tried that, and now we have the teleporting Purge man script working. But you see, when he steals a tool, it kind of just disappears, no UI or anything. So I added this nice little text UI saying that the Purge man stole your item. Here we have a comment by Yusufasad4182, and he basically wants a gamble potion. I first started by getting the model from the toolbox because I'm no modeler. Then I fixed the tool grip because it wasn't really working. After that, I started working on the code. Basically, there's 5 stats: health, speed, jump power, max health, and tool. If it's tool, then it will give you a random tool, and if it's the other 4 things, it will give you a random buff or nerf to that stat. I also added a badge for this. How to achieve? Well, remember when I said that you can get a random tool from drinking the potion? Well, if you get the gamble potion by drinking the gamble potion, you will get this badge. Next up, we have a comment by Metal Sonic Me 1, and he wants an event where 1 random player will die. So I thought I'd maybe modify this a tad bit, and how about 1 random player will die within the next minute so they can enjoy their final moments. Here we have a comment by Das Crazy, and he wants a player event, an event that will enlarge the head of the player. Now this could be a disadvantage or an advantage. Advantage being maybe gifts will spawn from the sky and slowly float down. The bigger your head, the better your chance of getting the gift rather than someone else. But disadvantage, bigger hitbox, like way bigger hitbox. I also planned on making this a badge, but I already reached my badge limit for the day, which is the welcome badge, the Obby badge, the Meteor badge, the Gamble Potion badge, and the invisible plate badge. So yeah, I can only make 5 badges within a 24-hour time period, or else I will have to pay 100 Robux, and I don't want to do that. So I instead planned the badges I'm going to add, so I currently am planning on adding these badges. And the final suggestion is a comment by Pillow123Bro. He sent a clever event called Plates Will Slowly Shrink to Death. I think this one is going to be very fun to see, just watching your friend's smile slowly fade away as his plate gets shorter and shorter. There is no footage of me adding this because I ran out of storage, but I swear it worked. But I'm sorry to Pillow123Bro. But there's one more thing I would like to fix up. Yeah, as you can see, I added little conveyor belts to help you get to the other sides. I also added this nice little area, so obviously in a round-based game, you aren't always going to be playing in the round. So we need to fix this. Maybe some little fun machines or mini games that you can do to get coins. Like for example, Plates of Fate handles this problem really well. You may be saying, how? They have gambling to kids. Isn't that wonderful? But yeah, so just some things that will go in this little empty space right here. Anyways guys, thank you so much for 23,000 views on my last video, 500 likes. Thank you all so much. For this video, I had 16 hours of footage, spent 3 hours figuring out what I was going to say, and like another 15 hours of editing the video. A total of 34 hours, which spans to like 9 days of just non-stop working, and I'm balancing school, so it would be much appreciated if you just hit that subscribe button. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one.